Hello, it's Dylighted, and welcome back to another initial settlement placement video, where I look for the best spots on this board as 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th position. I decided to team up with 2 others to help me place settlements on this board. Neonate, who also makes Catan videos as well. I highly recommend you to look at his channel. I guarantee that you will learn a lot from him. I'll link his channel in the description. And also, I teamed up with someone called Izanagi. He's won tournaments and he's qualified for nationals before. Both these players are much more skilled and experienced than I am. So follow along and please pause before I place my settlements, as I believe you learn the most this way. I like to keep in mind that we are placing as a 4-player game, even though there's only 3 players in this specific game. Let's just pretend there's a 4th. So, as first position, where would you place? I would place on the 5, 6, 9 because it's a crazy 13 production points, and you get the strongest ore and sheep on this board. In addition, looking forward, there's no way that you're going to get locked out of wheat. There are just too many good wheat spots on this board. So I'm confident as this pick as I get strong ore and sheep, and I know that I can secure wheat in the future. So for my road, if I point it upwards or to the left, you can see that there's another wood brick combination, and if someone places second, I'll probably get cut off. Not only that, if I place my road up or to the left, there's a high chance someone else will place there, and I will get cut off. So I'll point my road to the right towards a 3-for-1 port, as there's no chance I'll get cut off, and I can secure a port. So as second position, where would you place? To me, I see 2 spots that jump out. The first spot, the 3, 6, 11. It's only 9 production points, but I get ore, wheat, sheep. With the same thinking as first position, I know I can secure wheat. Not only this, I can lock the strongest ore by placing directly across from it. This will allow no other players to place on this ore, meaning that only red and me will have the strongest ore. The other spot I'm considering is the 8, 5, 10. It's 12 production points, and I get the strongest wood and brick. In addition to that, I also secure some ore. Another bonus is that there's a high chance I secure the 3-for-1 port. So what makes me choose the 8, 5, 10 over the 3, 6, 11 is because first of all, I still have decent ore. And if I get on that 3-for-1 port, I'm going to be doubling up on my 10 ore. Second of all, I have more production just by placing on the 8, 5, 10 compared to the 3, 6, 11. It's 12 points to 9 points. Not only that, this is the only spot where you can get the best wood brick on the board. And looking ahead as second position, if I place on the 8, 5, 10, I'm missing sheep and I'm missing wheat. I only see one good spot for that, and that's the 8, 3, 4. But there's a high chance that that spot will be taken. Since my bigger priority is to secure wheat rather than sheep, there's a good chance I will be going without sheep this game. However, I feel more comfortable with that, as you need less sheep if you're going for longest road. I point my road inwards and towards the coast, because I aim to secure the 3-for-1 port. If I point it upwards, not only is a 3, 4, 8 a very good spot and is probably going to be taken, along with the 4, 6, 5, if the second settlement is on that 4, 11, 5, then they can cut me off instantly, as I start with the wood and brick. As mentioned earlier, I don't point my road to the right, as I value the ore and 3-for-1 port more than the 10, 9 spot. Also, there's still a chance I can build on the 10, 9 spot after I settle down on the 3-for-1 port. So as third position, where would you place? You have to place your settlement on the 3, 6, 11. Because, first of all, you lock up the strongest ore, and if you don't place on that 3, 6, 11, you're going to play the game with low ore. Not only that, by placing on the 6, 3, 11, you lock 4th position out of getting any good ore. As mentioned before, this spot gives ore, wheat, sheep, and you're confident you can get wheat. For my road, if I point it left, there's a high chance that I will get cut off or blocked off. If you look above and see that 10, 11 wood brick spot, if that's a second settlement spot, then I will get cut off. And there's a high chance that that spot will not be available. Since my first pick is ore, wheat, sheep, that means I'm lacking wood and brick. And looking ahead, there's not many spots that'll get me strong wood brick. So I immediately know all my roads are very precious. This means that all my roads have to lead to somewhere. So I could play it risky and point my road to the right. However, there's a good chance that I still might be cut off, which is disastrous. Instead, I want to play it passively and point my road down and get on that 11, 12. This road is just an extra option for a point. It doesn't really lead to anything. As 4th position, where would you place? Go ahead and place both your settlements down, as you get to go twice. So what comes to me first is, I need ore to win this game. Hence the saying, no ore, you're done for. So, I know my spot has to be the 3, 4, 8, and I get wheat with it. So knowing my first settlement is a 3, 4, 8, I have to think, what second spot goes with that best? Since the 3, 4, 8 gives me high wood, I also need brick. So, that leaves me to choose the 5, 8, 10. I lack sheep by picking this spot. However, as I mentioned before, you need a lot less sheep when you're going wood brick. For my road on the 3-4-8, I point it upwards towards the desert with the intention of getting to that 3 or 3-for-1 port. If I point my road right, hoping to get on that 4-5-11, that is just so greedy, and there's a high chance that someone will place there also. I don't put my road to the left because I don't have any sheep. Instead, I value the ore and the 3-for-1 port more. For my road on the 5-8-10, I point it towards the wheat port because if you look at it, I have 8 points of wheat, and this is going to be a big part of my game. However, you always have to look at the wood brick spots before placing your road. I think the fear is someone will place on the 2-9-10 with the wood brick, and they get the free road and can cut me off, losing the wheat port. However, I'm not afraid of this, because if you look ahead at first, second, and third position, they all lack wheat. So if they're placed at the 2-9-10, they're going to go with that wheat. And the famous saying of no wheat equals defeat applies. So for sure, I know that the 2-9-10 will not be taken. So as third position, I think you have a really tough choice. Once again, there's 2 spots that really jump out. The first spot is the 6-9-2. This gives you 10 production points, and you can point your road towards a wood port and use a wood port to convert to things you need. In addition to this, you get more wheat. On the other hand, there is the 8-3-4. With 10 production points also. And you also get more ore and wheat. By placing here, you can secure yourself a 3-for-1 port, and you're going to be going all ore wheat sheep. However, you have to realize that whatever you don't pick, second position is going to take. So, the real thought is, if I place on the 6-2-9, how will that fare against second position? And if I place on the 8-3-4, then second position gray will place on the 6-9-2. This gives second position gray a really strong wood port and wheat. If I choose a 6-9-2 and go for the wood port, I have to know that second position will take the 8-3-4. This gives second position all the resources. This is hotly debated. I think both of those spots are equally scary wherever gray places. However, what changed my mind into choosing the 8-3-4 was because if you place on the 6-9-2, you double up on your 6s. So let's say you go in a game and you get really unlucky and the 6s don't roll. What else do you have? You have a 9, you have a 2, and you have a 6 and a 3. The 2 won't really produce much, and the 3 and 11 are weak. So, if you get unlucky and the 6 doesn't hit, you're just sort of screwed. Instead, I'd rather diversify the numbers and place on the 8-3-4. I like to note that there's also an aggressive option here. You can place on the 2-9-10, and then point your road to the right, and try to cut off purple, 4th position, with the free road. This will allow you to get decent wood brick, and then if you go on the brick port, you'll be able to convert the brick to whatever you need. However, I think this option is too slow, and you're conceding a strong spot to gray. So second position, where would you place? I think it's pretty clear you place on the 6-9-2, and you point your road upwards towards the wood port. You get high wheat, and you have 10 points producing wood. So as first position, where would you place? There's only 2 good spots that jump out to me. I see the 4-9-11 and the 10-11-3. So, if you place on the 10-11-3, you can start with the free road and point to the left, trying to get on the 4-9-11. However, seeing purple pointing the road upwards also, and they can settle on the 4-9, this just starts an unnecessary race, and if you lose to purple, then you get screwed out of having wheat. Instead, I'd place on the 9-4-11, trying to get on the 10-11-3. This option is a lot safer, and I know there's no chance blue will be racing with me. So let's talk about build paths and priorities. So as first position, where would you build first, and what are your priorities? So the 2 big priorities as first position is the 1, upgrade your 5-6-9. This is an insane boost in production, and the second priority being the 10-11-3. This gets you more wheat, and the 10-3-11 is still high producing. After those 2 priorities, I would like to go on the 3-for-1 port on the 9-12. Then after that, I'd have thoughts of building on the 10-9 or sheep. To close out the game, I could connect all my roads, allowing me to get longest road. So at second position, what's your build path and priority? The 2 big priorities for gray is to first get to that wood port, so you can start using that 10 points of production of wood. The other priority is to upgrade that 8-5-10. It's also a really good spot, and you're upgrading your ore, which causes exponential growth. After those 2, I'd place my settlement on the 10 ore on the 3-for-1 port. And depending on how far red is, I'd consider placing on that 10-9 ore spot. Another option is to place on the 8 wood sheep port. So as third position, what is your build path and priority? For blue, my main 2 priorities is upgrading that 3-6-11, doubling up my ore, and getting on that 3-for-1 port, so I can convert since I'm going all ore wheat sheep. Also, blue will be going heavy development cards. So as fourth position, purple, What's your build path and priorities? The 2 priorities is to build on that 2-5 and get on that wheat port, as you have 8 points of wheat, and you need to convert that to ore. The second priority is to upgrade that 3-4-8, because it doubles up your wood to go with the brick, it doubles up your ore, and it doubles up your wheat to go with that wheat port. Following that, you can potentially go on that 3 ore, 3-for-1 port, or go to that 8 wheat ore port. You also have the option to build on that 6 wheat. So in summary, red has 22 production points and has good wood brick and decent ore wheat sheep. So they are a double threat. It can go longest road or largest army. At second position, gray, you have 22 production points also. You have high wood and okay brick. You have okay ore, high wheat, and no sheep. However, since you're going to be going to the wood port, you're going to be able to be flexible. This allows you to become a double threat. You can either go longest road or largest army. As third position, blue, you have 19 production points. You're going all or wheat sheep. You have to go largest army, and since you only have 3 out of the 5 resources, you also need the 3-for-1 ports. As fourth position, purple, you have 22 production points. Because of the high wheat, you'll be going to the wheat port. Because you have low ore, you can't go largest army, and you have to go long road. So let's learn some lessons from placing these settlements. I think the first lesson is, you want to point your roads to the coast or desert, especially in a 4-player game. Pointing your road inwards is getting really greedy. I remember watching the Europe-Barcelona tournament, and everyone who pointed the road inwards got cut off. Also, whenever you place a road, you have to make sure you won't get cut off by a free road. A last thought is, if you're going all or wheat sheep, you cannot afford to waste any roads, since roads are very, very precious. The second lesson is, have a game plan. Assuming every player is smart, they know they're going to be going longest road or largest army. You need to have clear goals defined and knowing where you're going to build or upgrade next. My last lesson is to look ahead. Whenever you place your first settlement, you always have to think where your second settlement is going to be. Are you going to get locked out of wheat? Maybe getting locked out of ore? It's not always about choosing the high producing spots, because you might get screwed out of losing a vital resource. Also, you have to think about where your opponents are going to place. This can really change up your game plan, knowing if someone's going to be too strong. Alright, I hope you learned something. Please only like the video if you learned something or enjoyed it. It really helps me know if I'm doing a good job or not. Anyways, thank you for watching.